Temba, good evening and thanks for your time. So just looking at the numbers and this rise that you are reporting or that you have found, is there a rise or just more people reporting these incidents over the past 5 years?
Actually, it is the combination of both. We're seeing a lot of reports coming through, which excites us as council because then it says our people know exactly what to do when they're confronted with these situations. However, we need to indicate that you look at the numbers of what we reported in Parliament about last year, where in terms of sexual misconduct, we received about 93 cases. We're saying one is one too many. The 93 are too many in terms of our own kind of thinking as council. And we're saying this is a societal matter. We need the entire society to work together to root out the scourge that is happening in our schools.
Are you finding that this is equal countrywide if you're looking at the increase, or are there particular areas, particular provinces where this is more prevalent?
The matters we're looking at national matters. This is spread throughout the 9 provinces in our country, and it's a worrying factor because we cannot just pinpoint one singular province to say it's worse than the rest, but it's spread throughout the country, and that's why we're saying South African society needs to stand up now and say what is it that is happening and what can be done to stop this kind of conduct by some of our teachers, because we need to indicate the majority of our teachers are doing a great job out there. Majority of our teachers are committed to their profession. However, the few individuals who are committing these acts, we need to identify, isolate them so that we clean the profession of such conduct.
And I suppose, Temba, the question would be, how do they get in the first place? I mean, and especially when some are repeat offenders. And, you know, I just did an interview a couple of weeks ago and you know, just being told that a lot of these offenders just get transferred to another school where they just end up doing the same thing. So why is there such a lack of control of who gets into that classroom or who has access to our children?
We're talking two different things. Council from the beginning of the year, 2019, took a decision that everybody coming to register with SACE must produce a police clearance certificate. And would understand, in terms of the police clearance certificate, all such incidences would be captured if a person was ever caught doing some of these things. The second thing that we are saying to employers of teachers, before you employ any person, it is important for you to verify first, either with council or with the Department of Social Development, who are custodians of the Child Protection Register, whether the individual that you want to employ as a teacher in a school is really fit and proper to become a teacher. Because we have seen a situation where people get dismissed from employment in certain areas, but they end up surfacing in other areas. That is why we're calling on employers, please do diligent work. Check on the person you want to employ before employing that individual, whether the person is fit and proper to be a teacher.
I mean, when you say employers, does every school have to do it? I mean, whether it's the governing body, whether it's management there, who's ultimately responsible for that? Who are the employers?
Remember, when you're talking employers, we're talking the provincial departments of education, we're talking school governing bodies, we're talking independent schools also as well. So we're saying all these kinds of institutions, before they recommend the appointment of a teacher, do diligent work, check the background and the status of that individual, whether that person has got any record or that person is fit and proper to become a teacher.
So we're also looking at some of your other findings here, Temba, and in particular you've singled out the Western Cape and the number of complaints that you've received about teachers in that province over the past year. What's been the main complaint about teachers there?
In actual fact, we need to commend the Western Cape Department of Education, one, because they report cases that they get to their attention. If you look at corporal punishment, for argument's sake, somebody may say Western Cape teachers are the worst, but they're not. But it's the number of reports that we are getting, which is not what we are getting from all other provinces. If you note on corporal punishment last year, we received about 295 complaints nationally of corporal punishment. of those 173 complaints were from the Western Cape. But we're saying it doesn't necessarily mean teachers in the Western Cape are the worst. But we are saying Western Cape religiously do report incidents that happened in those cases. And we are saying to our colleagues, to our teachers, they have a full understanding that corporal punishment has been outlawed in the country, and therefore whoever practices corporal punishment is doing something illegal. And as council, we are very clear that we cannot promote violence in our schools. And therefore, responding to whatever challenges through violent means, like corporal punishment, is something that we do not accept. And we discourage our teachers from practicing such.
Timber, we're out of time, but I have to ask you this one quickly. Have you identified any particular province where you've seen the highest number of sexual assault cases? Is there any province where you're seeing more numbers or higher numbers?
I would be saying if you look at our annual report, it's spread throughout the provinces. There's evenness in terms of the reports. But what we are trying to encourage society is that there are a lot. If we're talking 93, for argument's sake, somebody was saying there may be a lot of cases that go unreported. So we are saying to society, please bring such cases to our attention so that as council, we are able to deal with them. The Gender Commission was very strong on us to say, how can we collectively deal with this scourge? And our response as council is simple. This is a societal problem. Let's work together as society, learners, parents, teachers. Let's all work together to get rid of this scourge that is bedeviling our schooling system.
Right, and I suppose, yes, you know, over the past 2 years, you've seen KZN recording the highest number of reported sexual assault cases. So that at least they are reporting, like you say, but it's a pity that the number had to be the highest there over those 2 years. Thank you very much. That's South African Council for Educators spokesperson Themba Ndlovu in Pretoria there.